Yo, you guys gotta check out The Prom. This movie gave me life. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy, Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now, before I get started with this review, let me send a special shout out to the GMHC crew, which is Gay Men's Health Collaborative. If you are in the DMV area and would like to get tested for HIV, reach out to us at the GMHC crew for a HIV home testing kit. You can actually have the kit mailed to you, or you can call us and make a same-day appointment and actually come to our location to pick one up. And if you are interested in getting set up with PrEP, which is HIV prevention, reach out to us. Reach out to us at the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of KRSTV and you want to become one of my Black Diamonds, check out my Patreon today. Black Diamonds, because in darkness we still shine. For $3 a month, you get all of my YouTube content and also videos that will be specifically designed for my Black Diamonds that you will not find on YouTube. So check out my Patreon today. Also, check out my YouTube partner BK World 2, which is Black Netflix. You get shows like Love and Hip Hop to RuPaul's Drag Race. So after you watch this review, you find that link in my comments, in the comment section, as well as the description box to check out BK World 2. Now, this is my review of the movie The Prom, which is on Netflix, and I must say, shout out to the LGBTQ community because this movie gave me so much life and I just loved it. You know, it was actually a Broadway musical, but then they've made it into a film on Netflix, and I must say they did a great job. And shout out to Ryan Murphy, because Ryan Murphy always delivers. I mean, this is the creative mind behind Glee, Pose, Betty versus Joan. I mean, Betty versus Joan. I mean, he's done so much great work, and I'm a huge Ryan Murphy fan. So anything Ryan Murphy, I'm down for. So let me begin with this. So the Prom is about this young girl named Emma who is a lesbian who lives in Indiana, and pretty much it caused a stir because she wants to go to prom with her girlfriend, and due to the fact that there's a lot of prejudice and homophobia in Indiana, they just opted not to have prom at all. So her story definitely takes a turn when these, acts of Broadway, actors and actresses of Broadway intervene. But the reason why they intervened was sketchy. One of the talents from Broadway is Dee Dee Allen, who's played by Meryl Streep. Love me some Meryl Streep. Yes. Meryl Streep plays Dee Dee Allen. She's like this 2-time Tony Award-winning actress, and she will let you know it. And, she's headlining this musical on Broadway based on Eleanor Roosevelt. And her co-star is this guy named Barry Glickman, who's played by James Corden. And he does a phenomenal job in this role. He had me cracking up. But he's pretty much a gay actor who got into the business to prove everybody wrong that told him he wasn't shit and that he wasn't going to amount to anything. And the two of them are just gawking for the spotlight. They're both very narcissistic, but they both know their worth, but they're totally narcissistic to the point that people don't like them. So here it is, they had this big opening night, but the show canceled literally after its first performance. So they're both up shit's creek and their reputation's up in ruins. So while they're at the Sandies, you know, the infamous Sandies in New York City where you have all of the pictures of the celebrities on the wall, they run into Trent Oliver, who's another actor, and he's played by Andrew Rannells. I love Andrew. Andrew is working there as a bartender because he's in between gigs, and he's also a student from Juilliard, and he doesn't mind letting you know how he went to Juilliard. And they pretty much are talking about it, and, you know, Dee Dee and Barry are pretty much getting wasted because they're just devastated that they thought they were going to have this great run of the show, and yet their show got canceled on opening night. And then they're later joined by Angie Dickerson, who's played by Nicole Kidman. Angie Dickerson is pretty much has been this chorus girl for the musical Chicago for years, and she keeps getting passed over for her dream role of playing Roxy Hart. So all four of them come together, and they all realize that their careers are in the dumps. They all are not satisfied with their state in life, and they decided to come together once Angie finds out about Emma through social media. And it's like, oh great, if we get behind a cause like that, that will give us all the publicity and the notoriety that we need to revive our careers. Because Dee Dee and Barry got bad reviews in the press, and the fact that they're both old and narcissistic, and they lame and they tired, and ain't nobody checking for them no more. So they decided to go to Indiana because Trent was a part of this traveling tour with the musical Godspell. And Barry had me rolling when they was on the bus because they was in there rehearsing, but they sounded bad. And he was like, "Oh my God, would you please stop singing? You're making me hate God." I cracked the fuck I screamed. I was like, damn, talk about reading the shit out of somebody. That was mean as hell, but it was hilarious. So they all get to Indiana, and we also get to know more about Emma's story. The girl that she's dating is one of the cheerleaders of the school named Alyssa. And we also come to find out that her mother, Alyssa's mother, is Miss Green. She's the head of the PTA, and she's the main one who's dead set on making sure that Emma doesn't come to prom. And she's leading this charge that we want to keep traditional values. And, you know, this isn't Hollywood. This isn't Broadway. This is Indiana. And she's played by Kerry Washington. And Kerry Washington did a good job in this role. And it was just crazy. Because Alyssa is pretty much closeted. You know, she loves Emma, but she also wants to appease her mother. But then she's also seeing all the backlash that Emma's getting, and she's kind of caught in between two worlds, being accepted to being her authentic self. And also one of the allies that Emma has is Mr. Hawkins, the principal, who's played by Keegan-Michael Key. I love this guy. He is such a phenomenal talent. Key and Peele, that's just classic. I'm gonna always love them because me and my brother used to watch Key and Peele all the time, and we would literally be in tears laughing at some of their sketches. Like, you know, so yeah, Keegan-Michael Key is that dude. And we see that he's the main person that's been supportive of Emma, because Emma got kicked out of her house when she was 16 when she came out to her parents, and she lives with her grandmother, her Grandma B, who's played by the veteran actress Mary Kay Place. Loved her in Captain Ron. But you know, Mr. Hawkins is also a huge fan of Dee Dee Allen, and he's also infatuated with her. And we see that Dee Dee and Mr. Hawkins become very close. You know, when she first comes to the town and they kind of like interact with each other, he's like, you know, she's like, is there a place that we can go to have dinner maybe in conversation. And he's like, oh yes, there's an Applebee's, by the mall. And she's like, oh yes, take me to this apples and bees place. Like, she's just so damn bougie, it's ridiculous. But we actually see that the two of them really connect. And then we come to find out later on that he's in love with Dee Dee, but he's more in love with the character that she played on Broadway that she won a Tony Award. And he's a straight man, but he loves Broadway, and he's infatuated with Dee Dee. But then later on, after things kind of go left with Emma going to the prom, he finds out the truth that the only reason why they were there was not just for Emma, but they were there because they were trying to revive their own careers. So they pretty much, get that resolved. But it was a struggle. And then also within this whole process, not only were they able to help Emma, they were also able to fix the problems within their own lives. Dee Dee is so narcissistic, and the reason why she is that way is because she gave her heart to a man who only wanted her money and pretty much ran off and became this big talk show host and left her reeling in her feelings. So she just lives in her illusions because the reality is just too painful. And then you got Barry Glickman, who still has reservations against his parents because his family really didn't take too well with him coming out of the closet. And then we actually finally see a scene where him and his mother Vera, who's played by the legendary Tracy Ullman, finally come to terms. I love Tracy Ullman. Like, oh my God, I miss her show. Tracy Ullman's show. The Tracy Ullman show was my shit growing up. Huge fan. And to actually see, Barry come to terms with his mother and them to actually work out their issues was very important, because Barry just ran away from home and didn't look back and ain't talked to his family in years. And the reason why he hid behind his career was because he was hiding that inner pain of not having his parents in his life. And then as far as Trent is like trying to find his place in the world, and he realizes that he's good with kids because there were so many students at the school that were at one point Emma's friends, but now that she came out, they were literally treating her like trash, and was, kind of putting up that, being gay is a sin and all of that. Oh, Trent came up in there with that Leviticus and was knocking them off one by one. Like, he's like, oh, so you're having premarital sex, huh? Oh, you like to masturbate. Oh, and you like to eat seafood. So I was like, you better give it to him, because of, like, if you really want to go by Leviticus, everybody's going to hell. I mean, if you really want to go at it by the letter, gay people ain't the only one going to be on the chopping block. But it seemed to me everyone hypes up that being gay is such this big sin, but actuality, being gay is a natural thing. Gay people have been here since the beginning of time, and people need to realize it and cut the bullshit. That's the reason why our community is the LGBTQ: lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning. Because there are people who maybe question their sexual preference when they get later on in life. It happens. We're human. And sexuality is fluid. It's not so concrete that you could put it in a box. So seeing Trent interact with these students led him to becoming the new drama teacher at the school. So he finally found his calling, that, he's actually a good teacher. And actually these students came around and they later on apologized to her, because the one thing that they did, which was really fucked up, they tricked Emma to thinking that she was going to be accepted at the prom. But what happened is that they booked the prom at a different location. She went to the school and she was the only one there. So they all decided to come together to create a new prom, and they all decided to invest their own money. I mean, even Dee Dee, you know, who was very stingy with her shit, she decided to use her black card to help pay for the prom. And due to the fact that all of them were working to make things right, the second prom was better than the one that they tried to hide from her. And then, of course, because Alyssa went to the actual prom, that caused issues between Emma and Alyssa's relationship, because Emma's like, I'm out here and I need you to be with me, and if you can't do that, we can't be together. I'm like, yeah, because to be partners, you got to be equally yoked. And then also Angie, you know, becomes a very big confidant for Emma. You know, she helps her to gain her strength after being humiliated. And then later on, she gets a call that the role of Roxy Hart is open and they want her for the role. So she finally got the whole thing that she was looking for. So it really had a beautiful ending. And finally, Mrs. Green, Alyssa's mother, finally comes around. It got to the point where she told her mother that she was a lesbian, but she sings a song to ask her why she stayed closeted, because her mother wants her to be perfect, because ever since their father left the family, she's put all of this immense pressure on her daughter, you know, to succeed at everything. So she doesn't want to disappoint her mom, but yet she's resentful because she can't be her true self. Excuse me. So here it is. Her mother finally accepts her. Her mother comes to the prom. She embraces Alyssa and Emma's relationship. And the prom goes off without a hitch. Dee Dee and Mr. Hawkins finally get together. And pretty much it's like the prom is supposed to be that time where you're supposed to enjoy life, and you should be able to bring the person that you love, the person that you are, you know, that you're into, regardless of sexual preference. So the whole idea of prom was to break the stigma of this traditional idea of what a prom is, and actually make the prom, you know, pretty much make the prom, you know, non-gender binary, and to make it open, you know, for all people. And that everyone should be able to be with their significant other without prejudice or shame. So this definitely was a great project that represents the LGBTQ community, and it was done exceptionally well. So that's what I have, y'all. Get down in those comments and let me know your thoughts on it. And if I missed anything, also put that down in the comments as well. Love to hear from you. So that's what I have, y'all. So until next time, everybody, take care.